everybody. Happy Tuesday. I am on the East Coast, so I know it is kind of super early for my West Coast peeps, but I am traveling today, so I wanted to get this done and up for everybody to see. So if you're on the West Coast, you're probably just opening up your eyes, and this will be here for when you are wide awake. And we are talking about my beloved Cabernet Franc today. Okay, we are talking about its history and what it tastes like and all of the good stuff about Cabernet Franc. So we're going to start off with where it began. So the origins of Cabernet Franc kind of are a bit cloudy, as many regions believe that they are responsible for its beginnings. All right, the first writings about Cabernet Franc can be found in the 17th century in Bordeaux. At this time, the grape was called Bouschet, and however, it is the current belief that it is not a French grape at all, that it is actually a Spanish grape. Okay, so it is thought to have originated in the Basque region of Spain, which is just south of that border of France. And it is thought to have found its way to southwest France during the global warming following that our last ice age. So where are we actually finding Cab Franc? This is what I believe is the true beginnings of Cabernet Franc. So the Loire Valley is where Cabernet Franc truly first became popular, at least a century prior to the plantings of Cabernet Franc beginning to be really growing in. Hi, Sally. It is really the Loire Valley, and it was here really growing, going a great job, and then it kind of became popular, yeah, you could call it that, popular, in Saint-Emilion and Pomerol. So as a single varietal, its popularity is credited to Cardinal Richelieu, who carried clippings from the Libournais region of France to the Loire Valley. So here the clippings were planted outside of the Abbey de Bourgueil, and the abbot named Breton was responsible for maintaining those clippings. And actually to this day in the Loire Valley, you can also hear Cabernet Franc as a pseudonym. It is known as Breton. So this is where Cabernet Franc really began being recognized as a single varietal, and it was long before it was a quality wine in Bordeaux. So why is Cab Franc even around in most areas? Okay, so Cabernet Franc enjoys a Mediterranean climate, and it is filled. It loves limestone soils with some clay. It can also grow successfully in sandier soils that can maintain temperate temperatures, and as long as there is consistent water. So the cool thing, or the amazing fact about Cabernet Franc and why it is growing where it is and how it is used is the fact that it is an early ripener. So typically it ripens about 2 weeks earlier than its offspring Cabernet Sauvignon, and this is extremely advantageous in cooler climates. So in these cooler climates, and inclement weather can come in, and then it's not allowing the Cabernet Sauvignon to ripen fully. In these areas, Cabernet Franc, since it ripens earlier, is kind of like an insurance grape for these regions. Okay. So it is planted among the Cabernet Sauvignon along with its other offspring, Merlot. And these grapes allow for that. If that Cabernet Sauvignon doesn't ripen fully, we still can make a fantastic wine because we have these insurance grapes such as Cabernet Franc and Merlot. So similar to Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc is known for its beautiful cassis and violet flavors. Depending on the climate, though, it can become fruitier or become more herbaceous. So that's kind of the problem with Cab Franc, is that we have these herbaceous, those green bell pepper, those pyrazines that can come into Cab Franc that a lot of people are turned off by. So it really has a lot to do with where Cabernet Franc is growing, the climate that it is in, if we can get to that fruity flavors and get rid of that bell pepper, that herbaceousness. Okay, so Cabernet Franc is much more perfumey than Cabernet Sauvignon. It has notes of raspberry, cassis, violet, tobacco. Where Cabernet Sauvignon really leads towards those darker fruits, those black fruits, that earth, that leather flavors that we get. So now the other thing about Cabernet Franc is that it is a thinner skin than its offspring, that Cabernet Sauvignon. So that typically leaves us to a softer finished wine. And Cabernet Franc, even though it's got thinner grapes, thinner skins, it really still can give us beautifully rich colored wines. Its acid is typically more characteristically lower than Cab Sauv, and this, I think, is what leads to the belief that Cab Franc isn't an ageable wine, and that is a misnomer. We know Cabernet Francs to have aged 10, 15, 20 years, so it is not to be thought of as only to drink as a young wine. I do think that Cabernet Franc is consumed younger because of those tannins and that lower acidity, so it gives us that beautiful flavor, those beautiful aromatics earlier than its child Cab Sauv, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't age well. In fact, we have we have some major examples of wines that can age well. Da-da! Okay, so thankfully Cabernet Franc is having its day in the spotlight, and we are so honored to have created Cab Franc Day, and we do believe that this is something that has helped Cab Franc come into the spotlight, come out of the shadow of its progeny. So it is being grown successfully in many regions. It is most well known probably as in the right bank of Bordeaux, where it enjoys those limestone and clay and sandy gravel soils. And this is an image of Chateau Cheval Blanc, which is probably the most famous chateau for Cabernet Franc. In the Loire Valley, the wines tend to be aged in stainless steel. These wines are usually lighter and meant to be consumed younger. So when you can also travel to Italy to find beautiful Cabernet Franc. In Northeast Friuli, it is dedicated to the grape variety. And in Bulgaria, it is a major component in their Super Tuscans. If we travel south of the equator, Cabernet Franc is finding its way into more vineyards as varietal wines. It can be found in Chile, Argentina, South Africa, and New Zealand, where it is known for its kind of softer flavors. Now, here in the United States, look at those beautiful grapes. Here in the United States, Cabernet Franc is grown across the country. It is a primary variety for the cooler climates such as New York, Michigan, and Virginia. And this is because of the fact that those regions are cooler and have difficulty ripening that Cabernet Sauvignon. So they have fallen in love with Cabernet Franc that's going to ripen about 2 weeks earlier before that bad climate, before that bad weather is going to come in. So it again is allowing these regions who cannot fully ripen other later ripening grapes to have fantastic wine. So we have New York, Michigan, Virginia. These regions have dedicated themselves to Cabernet Franc. In these regions, though, the wine itself is going to be more like the Loire Valley, more of that herbaceousness, more of a lighter variety. Okay, the fuller-bodied expressions can be found in warmer climates such as California and parts of Washington. Now, these grapes here, these are grapes from this vintage, 2023, from our Block Vineyard, which is in the Geneseo district of Paso. It is a new vineyard for us, and we are so excited to have this vineyard be part of our portfolio. And I'm going to share a little secret. Well, a little part of the secret. These grapes are going to be making some new wines for us. So stay tuned. Let me know if there's anything else you would like me to speak about in these Get Lives with Dracaena. And please make sure that you like, you follow, you share, you do all that good stuff. Head over to Dracaena Wines and schedule a tasting with us in our downtown tasting room in Paso Robles. And I hope to see you soon in person. If not, see you on the socials. Sláinte!